is Avaya from Scrappy Mania, and today we're going to create a card, and I'm going to be using these Prima stamps, and these are called the Glorious Flora. And Prima came out this year with 3 different Flora stamps, and I'm going to be using this sunflower one, and all the other ones are pretty nice. I'm also going to be using this card base, and I got this at Joann's when they had it 60% off, so I picked a pink and a purple. I'm going to be using some iridescent watercolor paints, and these are called Yasutomo. They're pretty economical. I think I got these at Joann's for $5 or $6. The paper that I'm going to be using to use for stamping my flowers is going to be this hot press watercolor paper by Fluid, and it's 140 pounds. So it's a 6x8, which I cut in half for my panels. I'm going to use some embossing powder, some embossing ink, and I'm also going to be using the Distress Black Soot or Carvel ink. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull my flowers, and they're pretty. I really like older Prima flowers, and the reason why I like them, the flowers come out very nice. You don't have to be perfect, and they're a good price. For this set was $8.63 on Amazon, so they're not very expensive compared to other layer stamps or other layer flowers that I have that are a lot more than this set. So I'm just using the embossing ink first, and then I'm going to follow it with my Black Soot Distressing ink. And the reason why I wanted to use embossing ink first is because I did not want this to dry very quick. I wanted to make sure that the ink stays a little wet, because I'm going to follow it with my embossing powder, and I needed something that it will stick. That the embossing powder will stick to the image, and it helps when you do use the embossing ink, and then with any other colors ink that you have that dries quickly. So I'm going to keep doing that on this panel, and notice that I'm kind of stamping off the sides, and that will give it a more random look, which makes it more appealing, makes it look nicer. If I would have stamped just whole flowers in the center, it wouldn't look as nice as it does when you do stamp kind of off the side and give it a more random look. So now I'm going to go ahead and emboss my panel, because even though I did use embossing ink, it does dry, so I want to make sure that I get some of this embossing powder on my image before it has a chance to dry. I'm shaking off the excess, and then I'm looking for any random stray powder that's not on the image, and just cleaning that off. And you just need to take a dry brush and just brush the excess. And then I'm using my heat gun, and I'm going to go ahead and melt the embossing powder. So I'm just embossing my panel, making sure that I melt all the embossing powder and not scorch it. So I did spill some embossing powder on my mat, but I have these floor cloth. They're from Swiffer, and they're really good for picking up powders and glitter and any of that stuff. It really picks it up nicely. So I'm doing the same thing to my second panel, making sure that I really melt the embossing powder, because I'm going to follow it with watercolor. And now I'm going to go ahead and use my watercolors, and I love this set. The first thing that you want to do in order to use this set is to prep it, and the way that I prep is I spritz a little bit of water to get my watercolors moving a little bit, and then I just take a little bit on my wet brush and just swipe it on the flowers. And because I use embossing ink, it's not gonna move the color, the black soot distressing ink. It's not gonna move it because I did seal it with embossing powder. So it's not gonna react with water again. So I'm using purple and pink. These two colors really work very nicely on the card. So once that was done, I went ahead and wanted to give it some black speck. So I'm using a brush pen. And I got that at Hobby Lobby, but you can also find it at Michael's and Joann's. And it's just it's a little pen that has ink and a brush instead of a nib. I'm using my perfect layer ruler to create a mat on these panels. And then one of the panels, I wanted to see how it looked with some of the Prima leaves. And then the other panel, I did not do that. I just left it with the flowers. I have these dies that I bought at Create and Craft, and it came with a kit that came with 3 butterflies and some sayings, and these are from Tatterlace. I really like Tatterlace dies. They cut nicely. And this is the first time that I use these dies. The only problem is because the letters were so small, I lost a couple of the letters. So I had to recut the saying out again. So one of the cards, I did put the letters on, and the way that I do that is I have a pickup stick, and the name of that is it's from Quick Cuts, and it's the Quicker Poker Picker Upper. That's the name of that product. Now I'll put the link for this product, but it works pretty nice because it has an adhesive tip, so you pick up your letter with the adhesive tip, and then I swipe the letter on an area that I have a little dot of glue, and then I put that on the card. So because I did lose some of my letters, I went ahead and recut it. I recut out the love, the saying love, and then I didn't use the letter inside. I just used the outline, and then I placed with love. So I'm done with this card. So I'm going to bring it up to you, and look how beautiful that shimmer is. It really looks very nice. I love how these came out. So I hope you liked this video, and thank you for watching. Bye now.